Today's Mercedes-Benz interview of the day brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. Celebrate the journeys that bring us closer together with an exclusive offer on a vehicle you'll adore. Mercedes-Benz Holiday Love celebration going on now through January 2nd. Learn more at mbusa.com/special offers. Always great to talk to Louis Riddick, ESPN NFL college football analyst, former defensive back, and worked in the front offices of the then Washington Redskins and the Eagles. He was on the call for Georgia Tech's upset over number 4 ranked Miami on Saturday. We'll get to that in a moment. Can you believe that the sunshine at Texas Stadium is still an issue, but Jerry won't fix the issue because he doesn't want to just pull the curtains? What would you do if, well, you can't be the GM because he's the GM, but
yeah,
how silly is this?
it's silly only because it's Dallas, right? I mean, it's silly because this football team just finds ways to continue to be inept on the field, to continue to underperform despite having, the collective attention of the nation every single week, win or lose. And that's why this all seems just so ridiculous. But look, it's a real thing if a wide receiver can't. It's not like CeeDee Lamb's going, well, I'm just kidding. I can see it. I just dropped it. No, it's a problem. It's an issue. Jerry says, well, we've known that, where the sun comes in and you guys have known you need to be able to adjust accordingly. And I'm not going to change my stadium for the sake of, the wide receivers having to catch the ball. I mean, like the fact that this is even a discussion is just so, it's kind of like number 1,150 on the list of things that you probably could get to before you get to that. But with Dallas, I guess everything's fair game.
Can you get to the point where Jerry would actually make a change during the regular season at the head coaching position?
You know what? Yeah. I mean, you would think any other owner could. Any other owner would be seriously considering it right now, especially considering, look, I mean, you may take Mike Parsons' comments out of context as far as him saying that Mike McCarthy can do whatever the hell he wants, blah, 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 blah. But what that says is this. Have you heard any other player say that kind of thing about their head coach? And when they're in the midst of having some kind of downturn or facing some kind of adversity, just basically dismiss whether or not their head coach is there or not? You don't hear some of the things that you hear coming out of that place as far as like just the overall explosiveness of the rhetoric that comes from in the locker room. And if you're Jerry Jones, you have to listen to that. You have to be listening and going, okay, wait a second here. Despite me always feeling as though I have all the answers because I have my finger on the pulse of this team better than anyone, damn it. I'm the one who owns it. I'm the one who paid X amount of dollars for it, and look how much it's worth now. So I must know something. Well, you clearly don't know, really, like right now in 2024, probably what your team needs the most. And then we could kind of start peeling it back from there, Dan. Because one of the hardest things to do as an organization is to self-scout and really know where your strengths and weaknesses are, because you have natural blind spots. That team has more than blind spots. It has like blind chasms as far as what's going on with their own team. And for him to not like maybe even consider that kind of thing right now, it's just more evidence of that. And it's too bad because they have some very good pieces that when you're just looking at basic team construction that you need, they have. But it's all the other stuff that just continues to go wrong with that football team.
But you're starting to hear players say it now, maybe the things that the quiet part out loud. You got the Bears with what's going on with Matt Eberflus as he lost the locker room. Like those are really powerful things that are said. And I don't know as a former player, but also working in 2 front offices, how does that resonate when it gets to the front office when players are wondering and outwardly questioning the coach?
Yeah, look, well, I can speak to it from both sides, right? I mean, when you don't have the number one thing that players want is for them to be led by people who are competent and that are making them better. They don't care how old you are, don't care what you look like. They don't care about anything other than, are you making me better? And when they don't feel like you're making them better, that's when you lose them. That's when they start going, hey, yo, you know what? The coach told me to take this on with my inside shoulder and kind of contain this run. You know what I'm going to do, though? I'm going to spill this run because I feel as though I could make the play. And then next thing you know, you compromise everything. When you start questioning everything like that, and see, that's what starts happening. Because that's what really matters. You don't have to like the coach, but you have to respect him. And you have to believe that they're teaching you things that are going to, one, make you individually better and help you win games. Clearly, that's starting to become a problem at the locker room level, which is the most important level because you don't have a shot. When you're upstairs and you're hearing and you're starting to get, some idea that that's what's happening, you better start circling the people up, meaning your head coach, your coordinators, and your team leaders on the leadership council and going, hey, look, is this a thing? Is this a real thing? And is there a way for us to kind of like bandage this thing till the end of the season where we can really get together and I can really peel this back and look at it? Because if it really is, and if you're really in it to win games, then what the hell's the sense of standing pat if you feel as though that's already a big giant crap ball that's rolling downhill and is not going to stop? What's the point of keeping it that way when you know you're probably going to make a change at the end of the year anyway?
Yeah.
I don't know. Jerry always seems very reluctant to do that, and he's very methodical. And he likes to march to his own beat and stuff. And it's just
And the Bears don't make midseason changes at coach either, coaching position.
But that's a foregone conclusion, man. I mean, there's just no way that stays the same. But I mean, it's all over the place. I mean, that place is it's sad what's happening there.
Okay, how much of a hall pass do you give Caleb Williams?
You give him some because he's a rookie quarterback who at this point in time is still in the early developmental phase of his career at the NFL level. And there's certain things that he can control. There's also certain things that you're responsible for as a coach when it comes to his overall development. And you're obviously seeing that, look, there's that old axiom, right? You're either coaching it or allowing it to happen. Well, they're allowing some of those bad habits that he had in his game start to actually increase. And now looking like he's regressing.
Okay, but how do you get that out of his game? We saw that with Josh Allen. Josh Allen came with bad habits, and it took him a couple of years to get rid of those bad habits.
You're right. And you know what? Same conversation right now is being had about Anthony Richardson, right? And so there's no question Caleb Williams is not all of a sudden a lost cause. But what happens is, there's going to be two phases to it. One, you better self-scout your own organization and go, look, is Shane Waldron, our offensive coordinator, is he the guy in the first place? And is Matt Eberflus overseeing it all? Is he the guy? Was he ever the guy, either? What else is going to have to happen is Caleb's going to have to go outside, just like Josh Allen did, and seek some other tutoring, mentorship, development to where he can really break down his game to the most minute level. What do I need to improve on? How can I, get my mind to kind of really lock into some repeatable mechanics so I'm constantly, consistent with my lower body, my upper body, put the ball where I need to. And there's just so much muscle memory that in the most critical moments, I'm going to be consistent because right now he's not. Those are the kind of things that Josh did. Sean McDermott was very diligent in terms of trying to continuously tweak his roster and his coaching staff to help Josh out. And next thing you know, Josh really dispelled all those other preconceived notions that you had about quarterbacks, which is, well, if you're inaccurate in college, you're going to be inaccurate. You can't fix that. It's BS. It's not true. You can. That's what ticks me off the most about this Anthony Richardson conversation right now. You see objectively, you look at the stats, him and Josh are the same people through 10 starts. But people are now saying, well, because he tapped out, which was a BS move, you can't do that. But should you now all of a sudden throw dirt on the kid and go, his career's done? Look at his stats. That's stupid. He's not done. But the Colts, you better look inward. That's for sure. And Anthony, you better have – I know he's already working. He already has a private quarterback coach. He already has people that he's working with. You better go back to the drawing board. And you better never – and he's going to have to work twice as hard now to dispel this whole idea of people thinking he's a quitter.
But there are –
That's what's haunting him more right now than anything.
But, Lewis, there are situations. Arizona moved on from Josh Rosen after 1 year, and it was the right decision. So Sometimes you have to admit, a lot of times GMs and owners will double down and say, nope, trust us. He's really like Daniel Jones. The Giants doubled down, and it's cost them dearly, and it's going to cost their coach and GM their jobs.
Okay, you're right, and I respect that. So maybe if the Colts have some kind of intel that none of us have because we're not in the building, that's one thing. But Josh Rosen and Daniel Jones have never in their life done some of the things on a professional football field that Anthony Richardson has already shown you he can do. Ever. They couldn't scratch even one iota of what natural talent AR already has shown you that he has. Okay? So you better be darn sure that you believe as though he has some kind of fatal flaw that you have to move on already now after 10 starts. You better be darn sure. Because you know what? I think it wasn't Kevin O'Connell who went up to the kid after Indianapolis played him and was just like and was trying to encourage him. There's a lot of people out there who'd be like, let me get a crack at him for different reasons other than why maybe they
Oh,
wanted
I
to
wouldn't give up on him.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
get your point.
yeah,
I
but
get your point.
I wouldn't give up. I would say that just like Bryce Young, I said,
Yeah,
let him start the rest of the year, and I
right.
do think that he's shown promise there. I
No
just think
question.
he was thrown into a situation that
Yeah,
was above his pay grade. That's why I
no
have
doubt.
so much respect for Drake May with what he's done. He's on a bad
Unbe-
team, and that he's played well. He is
Unbelievable.
he has played well. And you can make a
Unbe-
case the quarterbacks taken after Caleb Williams have outperformed Caleb Williams.
No question about it. I could not agree with you more. Drake May is a testament again to you better really know the individual about what really makes them tick. You better go and watch them, see them, talk to them, research them. Because when you're looking at it from afar, you get these ideas about what you think a guy is, and in the old axiom like the tape doesn't lie. Yes, yeah, like there's so much more, and you got to really like peel these dudes back. Drake May, I'm telling you, from the time I saw him down at UNC for his pro day and stood right there and was just talking to this I'm like, the tape doesn't do this kid justice. And his overall presence on that football team and the way Gerard talks about him up there and other players talk about him and Alex Van Pelt talks about him, what he's doing with what's around him is amazing. Is absolutely and you know what's too bad is that we didn't get a chance this year to see JJ McCarthy do the same thing because he was on his way too. It's a good overall class.
Yeah.
Different situations for every person.
I want to
Fun
get
time.
to the game. We're talking to Lewis Riddick of the Mothership. You were on the call, Georgia Tech and Miami. I mean, that's a deathly loss for Miami. You got a
Yeah.
Heisman candidate. You got a chance you're going to be a first round bye, maybe hosting a playoff game. And what the hell happened to Miami?
Yeah. A lot of the flaws that they have shown all year long, but that they've been able to escape because of Cam's exploits, they couldn't overcome them in this game.
Is he a great the potential? Like, if you had the number one pick and you needed a
Yeah.
quarterback,
Yeah.
who you taking?
Would I consider it? Absolutely, I would.
No, who you taking?
Okay, who am I taking? Like right now,
Yeah.
who am I taking?
You got Cam or you got Shador?
You got Shador, right? Yeah. I'm taking Cam by a slim margin. And
Because
I've seen them both live, and obviously I know Shador's dad very well, and I've seen Cam twice and talked to their coach. I mean, Shador is an alpha and a leader. Cam is very special, and I'll tell you what, had he not gotten strip sacked, he may have led them down and won that game. But the defense, I'll tell you what, the defensive secondary is beat up in Miami. They totally got out schemed by Buster Faulkner, the OC of Georgia Tech. Lance Guidry got out schemed. They ran the ball down their throat against a defensive line that's going to have multiple guys who were first day, second day picks in the NFL. This got mauled in the run game, taken advantage of in the passing game by a freshman, Dan, who was being brought in because Haynes King couldn't throw the football. This kid's being brought in third and 15, and he's completing passes. Aaron Philo, the freshman at Georgia Tech, remember his name. We may be talking about him as a Heisman candidate in a couple of years. Unbelievable. So yeah, they got exposed on defense. Cam couldn't pull it out of his, pull a rabbit out of his hat late in the fourth quarter like he's done all season long. And that's been their flaw. And now in Georgia Tech was motivated. Brent Key is a damn good coach. And if he can get some more recruits and get some more people out of the portal at Tech's going to be one of those teams to keep an eye on in the ACC for years to come as long as he's there.
always good to talk to you. Thank you, Lewis.
You bet. Thanks.
Louis Riddick of the Mothership. He's on the call, Georgia Tech in Miami. We'll take a break. We will give you our best and worst of the weekend. Also, more phone calls coming up after this.